I'm Mel.
And I'm Mark.
And this is the Cerebral Sports Podcast. On the Cerebral Sports Podcast, we champion the mental development, wellness, and health of athletes, big, small, professional, and amateur.
Week to week, we'll have compelling conversations with athletes, coaches, parents, and mental health professionals to discuss their experiences and point of views as we work to bring awareness to the most vital muscle in an athlete's body, the mind.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another great episode of Cerebral Sport Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jamel, alongside my man, Mar. We have a special guest, Coach B, in the house today. Coach B is an influential person to the community. As a Nassau Community College women's head basketball coach, he has made a tremendous impact right away. He's also an alumni of Nassau Community College, where he played college basketball. He has a journey of different places that he's been, and each stop he has laid his mark and has really been a influential impact to all the student athletes and the program. He's an assistant basketball coach for the men's team at LIU Post. He was assistant men's basketball coach at the Adelphi University, Farmingdale State. All right. He also did a plethora of things within camps with 5-star and a lot of other camps, but he's also known for his individual work with players. And if you're on Instagram, you can see him post great clips every single day with habits. And he does definitely bring another side to the game other than just your skill set, right? He always talks to them about their mental. And that's why we are very excited to have him on the show here today. Coach Brian, welcome to the show.
Give it up, Coach B.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, man. Always enthusiasm on this side. Love everything about the sport. And more importantly, the mental piece, just being able to really tap into that, just from being a player and a coach and being it starts from really me being a player. I was really talented. But when I play, I be more thinking about making a mistake. And it kind of helps in many times because you're going to make sure you're doing your job. You know, you're going to pressure hard. You're not going to give up anything. You're going to control all the controllables. But when it came time to truly be the artist and the creator and where you can make a mistake, that's where I struggled at. And I really did a good job where when I just didn't care or I felt good, you know, with certain situations in the game, I will always be able to thrive off of it. But it was other situations in the game where I could have thrived and did really, really well for myself too. But because I overthought a little bit, it kind of sabotaged a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that, you know what, if I can help someone else with this, then kids like me, then I could definitely win games and a lot of games because I was right there playing in a lot of big games as a player. And, you know, if I just had that mental toughness, that next level of whether it was fear or overthinking or just wanting to make the right play, you don't get a chance to, when you think you're done. You know what I mean? So you know how it goes. So if I could have just been in react mode, I did well. Like, for example, when I sorry to be long-winded.
Now you cooking right now.
Speak,
Keep
man,
cooking. You chefing it up. Keep going, bro.
I'm passionate about it. But when I played at Nassau, right, my second year as a sophomore, we had a really good team, man. We were like number 3 in the country at one point. And then like 4 or 5 players failed off, which was the main 2 players were our point guard and our big man. The big man led the country in blocks. He was getting like 7-8 blocks a game, and my point guard was leading the steals and assists. So he was a dog. But once they left, now I was a rotational player. I was like probably about in the second unit. Once they left, I was like the first player off the bench. But long story short, I played in the playoffs, and I had like a career high there against Hostos. I had like 16 points. We beat the defending national champions, and I was really intentional about what I needed to do. I was just, every time I caught the ball, my job was, all right, to make the defense step up, and if they don't step up, hit the shot. If they do step up, drop it up to the big. And if they help from the weak side, then I'm kicking it out to the guards. Simple reason. I just love to just pick them apart. I was really just on my job, really wanted to beat them. It was no thought of making a mistake. I was just going after it. You know what I mean? So we beat the defending national champ, and we're in the championship game against a team that we blew out once this year, and they beat us once. But we know we didn't play hard. So when we got to the championship game, come about the last 4 minutes of the game, the coach made a really good adjustment. He took away my playmaking and made me the scorer. And at that exact moment, I'm thinking about everything but scoring the ball. And when I was literally shooting the ball and running after my rebound. Like sheesh, man. It's like cringing to think about it, cringing to watch, but I leverage it. You know what I mean? I leverage it because I did a lot of other good things well. I moved on from there. But just be able to, like, you know what? If I was able to just trust myself like a game I did before, then I might have been the tournament MVP. And, you know, I could just try to help other players with that. You know what I mean? That experience.
For sure. That's amazing, man. And I can relate to that, you know, that overthinking and being in your head and, you know, having that catastrophic kind of mindset, like, damn, man, what can go wrong, would go wrong, and I don't want it to go wrong. So I'm gonna think. And to have that perspective and be able to share that, you know, with your players now that you coach, and, you know, obviously there wasn't anyone there to give you that perspective or to talk to you about that. What do you think you could have done, like, as a player, maybe to kind of overcome that? Or what would you say to a student athlete, you know, a player, a young player that has those thoughts? What would you say to them to help them kind of like circumvent that?
That's a great question, because ideally I want to say for my business, you got to train with me so I can help you out and I can really help you out. But that's really what we do. We kind of help them tap into that, develop the skill set where you don't have the fear, where you basically have this, you attain the skills, you attain the mindset, you attain the work ethic, where it's really about just working hard. When you're working hard and you're doing all the little things, then you get the big thing. But if you're worried about your dribble, if you're worried about your shot, but you're not controlling the other things, like pressuring the ball, talking, rebounding, winning the 50-50 battle, you know, being able to guard your man, being able to help side, you know, being able to draw over the back calls, get deflections, so many other things that you could do before you even make mistakes. So I kind of really try to take that out the game, take that part out. And when I do coach games, it's part of like our superpower with the girls is we focus on everything. We focus on all of that stuff, doing all the little things. So when it comes time to making shots, I don't care if you make a missed a shot. If you don't take the shot, then you're coming out. Or if you're not, so if you're even thinking about it and I sense any sense of fear or you're thinking about it, then you're coming out. So I kind of like give my players a chance to, hey, you know what we came to do? We're going to really focus hard on doing the little things. We're going to talk. We're going to commit to help. We're going to win a 50-50 battle. We're going to box out rebound. We're going to contest every shot. We're going to do all the little things. Offense is easy because we create an extra 20 possessions a game from our defense. And against some of the teams that we play against, it might be 50 extra possessions, not even being funny. But some of the players that we recruit, you know, we work really hard, and other programs might have 2 or 3 players and we have a team full of 12. You're in trouble because we're going to make the other 9 that you have a long day. So, you know, how we take that out is really just prepare, do the little things, work hard, master the fundamentals. Because even the best players in the world, Steph Curry, he still shoots under 50% from 3. So he misses every other shot that he takes. So the big thing is his attitude towards it. And once players could get that part of, oh, really? Wow, I can't miss a shot. Oh, if I miss a layup, all right, I don't have to put my head down. I can sprint back. But if I don't want to miss a layup, then I need to prepare. I need to do the little things.
Yeah, that, you know what that speaks to as well. You know, thinking about just from the sports psychology standpoint of things, we relate that to performance confidence, right? So we had another guest on before, and he's the head coach D-line coach at West Virginia. We kind of ran through the 2 different styles of confidence. And what you're saying to the listeners is basically you need to work on your skill set. You need to have your talent in line. You need to work hard. You need to focus on whatever the philosophy is that you as a coach are teaching them, but you're really relying on your performance confidence, right? Your skill set, the things that you can control in order to help you be successful. But I also think within what you're saying, man, is like your philosophy is a lot different than the old school coach, right? The old school coach that we played for in basketball, football, any sport, is if you make a mistake, you're out of there.
Right.
Go sit your butt down, right? So you're allowing, because you played the game, you understand the difference in generation, how every generation these kids are different. You're now almost flipping it on its upside down and like, nah, you go and shoot it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're going to work in these moments, and you're going to shoot this ball because this is what you work for. This is what you perform. This is where your performance and your skill set lies. I think is that what you're telling everyone? Like, that's what I hear when you're speaking, but relating it to the psychology, the sports psychology of it, that's where you're really relying on for most of your girls and the people you train, their performance confidence. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, man, is one thing that I spoke to my guys about today or this week was mindfulness, right? And how mindfulness really works in your sport and in your game and what you do as a coach, right? So can you talk to the audience a little bit about mindful? And you already mentioned it, when you played, being in that moment, not overthinking, being able to take just those moments one step at a time. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Mindfulness, man. Oh man, this job, coaches, we can go so many directions with mindfulness. You know what I mean? Because I just related to myself as a player and how I can help them. But mindfulness can go a bunch of different ways. But one of the things that I'm really conscious of with my players is the mind being present of how they feel, one, about themselves, the team. That stuff is really important. And I'm not going to say what my culture with habits or Nassau is paramount in, but what about the team? The team comes first. You know what I mean? So, and them understanding and me, manipulating my setting, my background to the team being first. When I speak to them, it's all about them doing their best. You being 100. You don't no way you don't hold your teammate accountable to being 100. So, we're extremely almost mindful of positivity. We focus more on, clapping every time we're doing a drill. Everybody on the sidelines, coaches and players are clapping. We win the game. Coaches and players players are all talking. The bench is active. You know what I mean? So we have a culture to uphold. So I think that's a part of their mindfulness. That's a part of the mindfulness answer that I'm going to give you. We uphold a culture where we care about each other. We want to do our best. We want to be our best, and we want to give ourselves a score. Where, hey, was our 100 today? You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be at 100. That's one of our analogies that we like to use. We try to be at 100. So at the end of the offseason, we'll say, hey, this recruiting offseason, I'll say to myself right now, what do I give myself? I say I give myself about an 80. Right? I got myself about an 80 on recruiting. All right, we bought a first teamer back. We got a 6'5", I think, girl that could be Power 5 player. We got they're almost 30-point scorer out the PSAL, Samaya Allen. We got who else did we get? Oh, Kamara Dolly. She played up at Storm King Prep up in the NESCAC, but then she went and got a Division II opportunity, and the coach dropped down, and we helped her get that opportunity. The coach called us right back and said, hey, and make it work out where, Kamara could get to you. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, coach, she texted me already. So we got a really Division II player, I think a Power 5 big girl. We got like a low major to mid-major wing that we're bringing back. We brought back some players I've been challenging last year to step up. Siona Anderson, and really expecting a big year out of her, point guard. And a few other players. Kayla Hooks, really tough girl. She had a 30-point rebound game in the PSAL, multiple 20-point rebound games. Mia Cheatham, she's been out the game for a while, but her dad played D1 ball. She got a lot of really good. Anyway, so I got a lot of really good players that I'm really excited about. And I would say I give myself an 80. And so at the end of each practice, we say, hey, we're going around the circle. And we're clapping it up. Hey, I give you a 70. I give you a 75. I give you a 75 because this is what I thought. Or you get a chance to evaluate Gemma. What score do you give her? Some days we give each other scores, and then some days we give our own score. So the mindfulness is there that I'm working hard. That's like in our subconscious. It's almost something that by the time we're into our first game, we work hard. And it's not even something we're talking about. And if we have a moment in the game where you're not running, where you're not spraying, or you're not diving, then automatically you're coming out. You just say, yeah, my fault, I know it. Right? We're not having what did I do? So we really kind of set that from a mindfulness standpoint of we take a lot of the air and actually tabs out of their brain to actually thought. We're focused on these things. We're working hard, we're talking, we're communicating, we're doing those things. Now, the other side of it is what are they going on? What's going on with them at home? Right? We definitely have to acknowledge that. And I think that's really important, not just their home and personal life, the classroom, but we just want to figure out them, the person. You know, we try to be mindful of, are you doing your best in those areas? Are you making your bed at home? Are you helping out mom? Are you helping your grandparents? You know, are you just being a kind citizen? You know what I mean? So we talk about being 100 and just doing our best, and really having a healthy and organic environment for ourselves. You know.
Amazing. So one of the things that I find to be very interesting is one of the best basketball coaches that I've ever come across was Greg Petrocelli. God rest his soul. He was a high school basketball coach for the Elmont Spartans, where I went to high school, and he was the girls basketball coach. He used to have me come and help out with the girls' practice and give them like a male body like look to like for the physicality to get ready for their playoff run. And I used to always ask him, because he was far and away the best coach in our school. I used to always say, Mr. P or Petro, why don't you coach the boys? Did you ever coach the boys? And he goes, nope. He's like, I love the girls. He's like, they listen more. They're more locked in mentally. And you being a prolific male basketball player with a great resume, you also coached men's basketball. I'm curious to know your point of view on the difference in mental approach, right, between the girls and the guys.
Oh man, great question. Great that you picked that up. A few things jump out right away: athleticism, physicality, speed, and then on the girl side, obviously, it's not as fast, but it actually is fast. That's why we are successful. So, I would just say the mindset of how I coach the guys and how I coach the girls is exactly the 100% same. I challenge everybody to do their best and be their best. So if you're 7 foot, you're supposed to be dunking on people. Yep, that's right. If you're 6'5", you're supposed to finish every time inside, and you're supposed to block shot. You're supposed to be tall, use your arms, tall, win 50-50 battles. You know what I mean? Make sure everybody knows that you got their back. And if you're a point guard and you're a small person, then you need to be pressuring the ball 94 feet. You need to make sure that they feel you in the backcourt. You need to make sure that, we know what we're in offensively. Whatever type of spacing rules we're in, 5 out, 4 out, 3 out. And our point guard have to be really good leaders. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
But okay, so that's perfect. I definitely understand.
Yeah. So with the guys,
mm-hmm.
the girls, it's still the same. But I just think that it's a little, and I can't do the girls like that, because I got some girls that are tenacious, man. Like they 50 balls on the floor, they hearing a teammate to go, going after it. They're going to go hard. But I think the overall a little more moxie on the men's side, a little bit more physicality. I think you have more explosive plays with the three ball. I mean, with the deep threes and the alley oops and the beat your man up the bounce and just all the spectacular finishes and an array of finishes that you could finish with. I just think it's a little bit more jockey, a little bit more moxie, a little bit more physicality, a little bit more in your face that, which makes it an argument why the girls get less than the men. You know what I mean? Because I think the ratings are a little bit higher because of the speed, the physicality, and more people watch it because of those things. But I'm not going to take anything away from the girls. These ladies work really hard. Some of them, every time we didn't win our championship games, they're, crying their hearts out. And it's the same for the men. So
do you feel like the women have to be more locked in mentally because it's or are they naturally more locked in mentally because it's less of reliance on physicality or athletic ability? I feel like it's more of a mental play, a little bit more chess and checkers with women's basketball versus men's basketball.
Yes, great question. I think, girls are more likely to stick to the game plan. I think they're not just going to go out there and try to make hero play or make hero plays. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the big things. So I think with that, they are looking into the game plan and going to follow it more to a T. where on the men's side, not saying they won't take it, but we got this. This is the scheme. This is how we we're playing it. But if you could jump it, jump it. But if you get caught, then you're in trouble. You know what I mean? But we kind of like we'll bet on our athleticism a little bit if we have some of those elite guys. And I will honestly do the same thing with the girls. But because I think the guys play so much at a younger age, the instincts are there a little faster. So they can see things 2 plays ahead before the girls can see it. You know what I mean? So hopefully I answered that question.
Definitely great answer, man. Great answer. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So speaking to the difference between men and female basketball, one of the things I wanted to ask you is like, when it comes to the athletes, especially the ones that you were recruiting, you touched on that earlier as far as, what you gave yourself as far as the grade for recruiting. What is one of the hardest transitions you're seeing with these athletes that are coming from high school into college or even like a junior college like Nassau? Mentally, what are there any challenges that you're seeing like glaring that need to be addressed, or maybe they can do a better job in high school to help themselves along the way in college? Just to the listeners, the ones that are out there playing and have desires and hopes to play at the next level, can you shed any light on that?
Great question, Coach. I think one of the things that I see with the high school kids, and I just think it's just an era and a time too, with social media and the distraction. So it's constantly a distraction. So I think it's really an interesting time where some coaches and cultures get it and they're talking about it, where some are just completely oblivious to that cell phones matter and what they see, and it's a big part of who they are and the behaviors that they model. So I think that so it's sad that some coaches are, I think all coaches do a good job on it for the right reasons, but when you go to watch certain programs, you can see that they know basketball, they love basketball, and you go to other games, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like why sabotage these kids in that manner? Because this is not close to the standard. You know what I mean? So when you could almost see that level of fundamentals being taught from a basketball standpoint, I think it's more complex to dive into the mental health part. So I think that they're really good programs. They are mindful of the cell phones, the distraction, the constantly measuring yourself up to someone else where you might not be good enough, or am I good enough? But I don't think it's talked about enough, man. Honestly, I really don't think it's talked about enough. And I talk about it from, a standpoint of being a player, but also, I have a BA in sociology. I was going to be a social worker. I worked for 7 years with juvenile delinquents, and we worked on a lot of just coping mechanism, learning triggers, how to deal with their emotions, how to deal with their outbursts, how to deal with, new ways to communicate, how to explain how they feel. So just having that background and that experience too, that really helps me and gives me like almost an outlier's perspective from being a coach and developing, because I work with kids that literally been in the fire. I literally wanted to be a social worker. When I recognized that it takes me so much away from basketball and family, I think I'm doing social worker work through basketball and what I do. So, fulfilling my purpose this way. So I don't think it's talked about enough, but I think it is coming out there. This is a great podcast that you guys do. I'm telling you, I'm loving the whole journey. What we at, day 16 today? Day 17?
Day 17. I'm about to post right after we get done.
Day 17. I'm loving the mindfulness. You know what I mean? I'm sure there are people out there that are just waiting for you to not do it. Mm-hmm. But I see that you're committed to it. And I think it's really good, not only for the program, for our athletes at Nassau, but I think it's just great for everyone to see it in the platform that you guys created. But I think that when you're talking about translating the thoughts into putting it on the paper where it's okay to talk about this stuff. Actually, it's happening not only with me, it's happening with you too. And this is how we get past it. All right. So you're talking about that. You're talking about that a real intricate thing in development and coaching and learning and loving and just thriving and being happy in life. So I think that it's great that you're doing it. I think I'm doing. Coaches are teaching players to love themselves but it's not enough. You know what I mean? We're going against social media and all these distractions that is constantly putting out negative reinforcing, going against everything that we're standing for. But I think that, that's the beauty of sports. I think everyone that plays it kind of learn it and they appreciate it. So I think we're growing. I think it's trending. Hopefully it can trend even faster and have a quadruple, more of a quantum leap. And it's something that everyone does. And mindfulness is practiced by everybody. But I know that going into games, I have a competitive advantage. On our way to the game, we talk about, our mental state, where we are, how we feel, the descriptive word to describe how you feel, and who can help you with some type of your goals for the game. All right, what are your goals for the game, so who can help you with it? So we identify a few different things, a mental check-in. We also see, what their goals are for the game. And the mental check-in is how you feel, descriptive word to describe how you feel. So if someone says, "Hey, I'm feeling angry," so after we check in, we'll figure out, hey, teammates also know, everyone's aware. Hey, she's not feeling good. Let's be light around her. Let's figure this out. Let's get her in the right good space before we go. It could have been the day someone's dad passed. It could have been someone's birthday. It could have been, whatever. We can definitely adjust and adapt to the room, to our team, and just kind of bring them up, and we all get on the same accord. I'm really, really, really big on that.
Yeah, I think the mind, like you said, that's one of the things, goals and goal setting, but also communication, right? Being able to have that safe space is what I like to call it. I tell my guys when we meet, you can talk about anything you want, no judgment, and we're here to help. And as far as the goals go, on the app that I built, that's one of the things that I was doing along with the podcast with Marlon. I actually built an app. It's Cerebral Sports app. And when you join the app, you can literally put in your goals every day. So my entire team has the app, and they all are on there, and I can see everyone's goal every day. And if they hit their goal, it's a check mark where it gets crossed off. So okay, I can know that, like, let's say one of my players, he hit his goal. All right, cool. He did a good job. But if he didn't hit it, all right, let's see what he's going to write down tomorrow. Right. So it's just a little bit of taking their platforms and building platforms and sharing positive energy on platforms, I think is another thing that we as coaches and as people that are really, aware of the things that these young athletes go through, we have to do a better job of and continue to put that pressure on to make sure that they know it's okay. It's only going to make the environment that much better. Right. So you got a lady, like you said, hey, she's angry today. If you don't have that conversation and she may have a bad practice. You wouldn't, oh, she's lazy, she's this. Now you have all these extra things that you done added on top of her feelings without even knowing how she felt. Right. So it's like, we really do as a coaching community, as just people in general, man, we just got to do a better job of creating that safe space and being able to allow these people to check in and find out and then go from there.
Indeed. I mean, I can't even, Mel, I know we talked about, the app before, but to really sit here and think about the fact that each day your kids, your athletes get to go in there and talk about the goals that they set for themselves and how those goals are being realized, or what the journey is going like for you to go ahead and check and see. And you can see, like, I'm not doing well today, or I feel down, or this and that. That's insights that coaches never used to care about. Maybe you get a one-off coach that might pull you to the side and check in on you and see how you're doing. If you knew you're struggling with something, if you were good enough of a player for them to check. So to have that, right, is like, yeah, that is a real amazing tool to have. And it changes the dynamic between player and coach, from it being just like transactional, like I'm here on scholarship or on a grant and I'm here to help us win, to like, okay, like this is really family. This is somebody that cares about me. Mm-hmm. They care about my life. They care about my journey. They care about my success and my well-being. And it's a complete game changer. So that's taking the coaching to a whole nother level. Deserve a raise for that.
Nah, no raise, man. But like Coach B, the reason why I wanted him on the show, man, because we talk about things. Like every time I see him, it's like, it's positive. It's like, yo, how y'all doing? How's your program doing? I like what y'all doing. It's always been positive energy between the two of us. And then when you go out there and see his team execute the way they do at the level that they do it, for junior college basketball, female basketball, is one of probably the hardest things to recruit for, female sports in junior college across the board. And he takes these ladies and he turns them into like machines. and you're going against hostos and you're doing things. And the thing that I know, it's not about the X's and O's, man. Like, it ain't the scheme.
It's the experience that they having with you, man.
And the trust. Once you get that nucleus and that trust and they understand, these people will run through the walls for you.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. And then you got a little talent on top of that and you're working hard.
Yep. Forget about it. Sky's the limit.
Man, look. So the reason, like I said, the reason why I brought you on the show, man, is because I want you to share that, shine that light, man. Let these people know, the things that you really do and how much you care about the stuff that you're putting forth and what it does. Because like I said, we speak the same language, man. And as a player, I'm not going to hold the mic too long, but as a player, I've had those moments too, where I was talented, man, but my mind, man, that thing would have me in a whole loop. Like, I don't even know, like, I was making plays, but I wasn't there. And I was really like that.
I can speak to that. I remember seeing his face. I'm watching this man, number 2 corner on the field, right? Starter, all conference, everything. And I'm watching him make plays, but he wasn't like, he's worried about the next play.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in the moment. He was just like, no. Yeah, I gotta do more. I'm like, dude, you're killing it. Like,
But that's why I wanted you, man. And I want you to, like I said, obviously it's continued success. We know that, but I wanted you to share your philosophies with the people, man, because it's real. And you said it, transactional or transformative.
Yeah.
Like, we doing transformative work, not transactional.
Yeah.
We ain't making much money, right? But we're changing these lives and we're doing it at a great way.
Yeah, you got to keep spreading it so it can kind of like, and that's the point of the podcast too, right? Is to keep bringing light to that so it can kind of germinate and go further, because too many coaches still on this level, high school, youth level, college level, is transactional.
Yes, absolutely. No, I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%. Jamel, good for us is it gives us an advantage, because we also know that when we get our kids to play hard, then anything is possible. The unthinkable is about to happen when we're playing hard. Mm-hmm. So getting them to believe in themselves and trust themselves and trust us, and then once they can maybe learn how to love themselves and then work together as a team, it's almost like the ultimate goal. And then when they get there, that's when that national championship is coming. All right, so and I think that we're both onto something. That's my goal this year. I mean, I know that's definitely your goal.
I was there, man. We were right there.
And I think I got the roster this year. I'm hungry. I'm definitely adding more mindfulness. We do it every day, honestly, from the check-in, just to see, the game day is different, but every day we're just talking about, what's your score, or what you give yourself, or what's one thing you could have did better. Was one thing your teammate did well. And we have different topics where we're going around the circle to end practice 100% of the time every day. So we're kind of always very, very intentional about that piece, that part of taking away the fat, the BS, the social media, the who said this, the who said that, and just more focusing on what we're about and winning the championship. So I'm really passionate about that. I wrote something down just now, and that really helps me and myself, but it also really helped me help my players. And just being in the moment. You just said it, Mark. You just said it, like being in the moment. And I think that's really important. So if I can get you to just focus on what we're doing now, not the crowd, not what happened yesterday, not the next game, not the championship tomorrow, but right now, the start of the quarter, and getting your hands high every possession, talking to the ball every time you see it, screening, rolling, opening up hard. If we can focus on those things, then you know what? We dominate this quarter. Forget everything. You know what I mean? So I think that being in the moment is something that I'm really helping my players with. I'm really excited about. Another thing, Ramsey, is really on time that we're having this, because, and I'm speaking with Alaire, our new AD, and she's helping me out a lot. Is I have a few players. This could probably gonna have to go off the record, that maybe could stay on. I'm not sure, but they need that. They need the help, and we need to be checking in every day. How you doing? Yeah. How's home? How you feeling? What was your goal? You didn't get your goal? Oh man, I'm not even gonna wait. You said you're gonna wait till tomorrow, see what they do. I'm gonna check in. Why didn't we hit your goal? What happened? we have to hit goals every day. We have to be very intentional about reaching these short-term goals that we set for ourselves. Because if we don't get it, then we're not getting the long-term goal. You know what I mean? We have to goals.
So I'm gonna share some more stuff from like the stuff that I studied and the stuff that I know, and you having that background within your profession is you'll hear it. Like I have a mentor that I have to meet with like every week for like an hour every week for like the next probably 500 hours. I got to recertify my sports psychology cert, right? And one thing she shed light on with short-term goals, and this is for the listeners, short-term goals should be like used and utilized as trophies. Right, you got to think about trophies and where your trophies are in your house, where your trophies are in just a regular setting. For young people, your mom and dad or your loved one probably put it on the refrigerator. Why? Because everybody's got to eat every day, right? For the older person, right, the person that's in high school and college, most of their stuff's going to be in their room somewhere, where when they wake up, they can always see it before they leave their room. And then for the old heads, the ones that are done playing and, you know, want to continue to feel good about themselves, especially for like the people who have like different housing, they usually put that stuff in their basement because that's where they chill and they feel good. Yeah. Right. So short-term goals, you got to utilize those things as trophies. After you have them and you cross them off, you got to have that thing saved somewhere so that when you're faced with that adversity, those days where you're like struggling, you can look at that and be like, damn, I can do it. I've done things. I feel good about the things that I've accomplished. I'm not where I need to be in my long term, but I got to continue to create these short-term things and continue to check these things off because that's really and truly what builds confidence.
Yeah, and I love it, man. That's really, really important. It's funny. A coach that I worked with a few years ago, right? They really good coach, man. But you know, he or she, this person rather was really, really good at what they do, but they have almost zero empathy for like some of the softness that some of these kids come in. And I could laugh it off, you know what I mean? But seriously, why are they soft? Or is it really soft or are they unmotivated? You know what I mean? Have you seen that player rip through and dunk the ball already? Okay, yeah, so they're really not soft. We've already seen them stand up for themselves. So it's not a soft thing. We got to look at it a different way. Maybe something's going on, right? So longer story short, we kind of really bumped heads on that a lot. And I was just thinking, man, you know, they can never be a head coach. You know what I mean? And if you do, you lose the room. You know what I mean? Quickly. You know what I mean? So I just think that it's really an advantage to have that mindset of where you are, where the player is, you know what I mean? Being able to check into them and being able to really help them. Like I say, again, if you can do those little things, then you get the big thing. That's something that we talk about all the time. You asked something about, you know, like my perspective. We talk about being a 100 every day. We talk about the thing is, you know, do your best. Before it was being a 100, it changes every year. It's going to be little things that we focus on. But those things, when we would start out the year 25-0, and we were number 1 in the country. And when we became top 10 in the country and we became number 5 in the country, what we were talking about then was just doing your best. Like, just do your best. Do your best. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like working really hard. That looks like supporting a teammate. That looks like doing, you know, mastering the fundamentals, which is the things we cover all the time. Contesting shots, boxing out, helping early, making them beat you with the jump shot, finishing the defensive possession. Then when we get the possession, let's run hard, let's run wide, and let's look to attack the rim. If they don't stop that, then we're gonna start out the game 25-0. And if they can't stop it, that's not our fault. That's on them. But if they can, then it's another layer of the game where we can still, you know, we'll still work. We're going to half-court offense, half-court defense. As the game slows down, we can still find ways to be competitive and keep our advantage.
Yeah, well, and that's a phenomenal philosophy, and I know it works. It's been proven. One of the things that you just mentioned, this is what Marlon, he came and spoke to my guys today, and I'm gonna let him kind of dive into it, man. But it was very much on the lines of what we're discussing, right? And how these things relate to players, but also as a person, being able to do some self-reflection. So I'm not gonna go into it, but I want you to share with the people, and especially with Coach B, about it.
Absolutely. So I was basically talking to the guys today, to the team, just in regards to self-awareness. No one should know anything about you that you don't know about yourself. You should be able to self-reflect and dissect, what you feel and what your weaknesses are, what happens when what the result is when you do A. If I do A, then I know the result is going to be B, C, D. You should know that, right? So I was talking to the guys today. I'm like, look, I know if I don't go to the gym in the morning before I go to work, I know the chances of me going when I come home from work are minute, very, very small. And so I said to the guys, I handed out cards, like blank index cards. And I said, write down 2 things that that you need to improve or work on, right? To be better academically and to be better athletically, for your sport, football, women's basketball, whatever have you. If you know there's things that you need to do, right, within yourself to be better at both, if you can come to that, that conviction and have that moment with yourself, like, all right, look, my left hand is weak. I need to stay after practice and work on that so I can be a better point guard, a better 2 guard. And it's only going to help me and my team. That's step 1. And that's the most important step, is to get there and have that conviction and have that self-awareness. So when Coach B be like, damn it, Sheila, your left hand is weak. I don't know. I hope you don't got to play named Sheila. I'm just throwing that out there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you should know that first. And Coach B should actually see you working on that left hand, right? Or you should even go to Coach B like, hey, Coach, I've been working on my left. You have any suggestions or something that I could do? Because I've been doing X, Y, and Z. You got anything else, any other drills or suggestions? That's a game changer. That self-awareness. When you're self-aware, you're kind of like armed for battle way more, if you're not.
Absolutely. No, and I agree. And self-awareness, we don't use that term a lot, but it's something that comes around. That has coming around, but more what we talk about more self-awareness is right along the line with self-awareness, but accountability. That's one of our like superpowers. We talk about that a lot in our personal life and our basketball life. Just being accountable for if we say, yo, I got an 80, well, why didn't I give myself 100 for recruiting? All right, well, because I didn't get those 4 transfers that I wanted. All right, and I'm aware and I'm holding myself accountable for it. But then, that's just an example, but it's very, very, very important that our players know what accountability is. So that's really good, Mo. I want to try to have you come through to speak to our girls a little.
Absolutely, man. You let me know whenever, man. I'll definitely come through and speak because, this, this journey that I've been on with Mel now, it's like things that we talk about, they relate to the athlete. They relate, whatever the sport may be, but it also just relates to human beings in general, And I'm talking about these things, but I'm also talking to myself and learning and applying these things to my own life. You're talking about these small wins. Jamel mentioned, I believe it was probably with Dr. Lally, right? That you had the conversation with, our first guest that we ever had, right? And the small wins. And I know for sure I don't celebrate my small wins enough.
Nah.
I know that for sure. And then I'm like, damn, like I feel checked now. I'm checking myself like, I definitely don't celebrate my small wins. I'm all about, I need a grand slam. I need a Hail Mary touchdown, or I need a half court 3 to win the game to be like, okay, I can celebrate, but dag, man, a good assist counts. You know what I'm saying? Like a 5-yard run for a first down, it counts. Gotta count those, man. And, so yeah, it speaks to that word that you used earlier, a little earlier. You said soft. We got to be softer with ourselves. And, our athletes, they need to be softer with themselves because life and the world is tough and hard enough.
Hold that question. Is there a better word we could use?
Yeah. Nah, but the way all right. So what you guys are saying is self-talk, right? It's really what it is. It's called self-talk, right? And what we try to do is when you talk to self, I always tell people, talk to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend. Right. Because you're going to be real with your best friend, right? You're going to be straight up with them, but your delivery is going to be a little bit more, a little bit more normal than if it would be someone you dislike. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone's not doing what they're supposed to do, the same thing with my guys yelling on each other on the field. Like, yo, I like what you're saying. I just don't like the way you're saying it.
Yeah.
I like what you mean, but is it going to be motivated? Because at the end of the day, the message and communication is the words that is being said, right? How it's being delivered is how it's going to be received.
Right. More than likely.
Right. And the goal is, even if you're frustrated with somebody, even your kid, your spouse, your coworker, the goal is you want them to be motivated to do whatever it is that you're frustrated about. Right. So if I can go ahead and I can push something on you like, yo, listen, you need to continue to work on this, rather than, yo, you need to work on it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to deliver that thing with a delivery in which it's going to be received well. Now, sports is full of emotion, right? So as a coach on the sideline, it's very hard to stay in zen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you got the shot on the line. So it's just from the coaching standpoint, we have to be more aware. You know what I mean? Like, you talking about national championship. So the national championship we played for last year, we was down. We was getting our butts handed to us.
Yeah.
I ain't sweating not one bit. When the locker room, they were like, yo, you good? I'm like, are you good? Like, I know what we need to do. Y'all know what y'all need to do. So what's up? We went out, we trekked back. We had the game in the bag. We was up. We came back down 24. We had the game in the bag. And then we just, we dropped the ball a little bit at the end. But everyone understands, like, yo, that was I can't believe y'all lost. I'm like, it's okay. Like, right. I understand why we lost, right? But you guys, if you missed the show, like, you got to be able to see what these kids just did.
Right.
Like, they came back from being down. That's a win. They didn't fight each other in the locker room. That's a win, right? So even though we lost at the end of the game,
big picture,
I won.
Yeah.
I got a nucleus of kids in that locker room right now that are chopping because of the way we delivered the message. You know what I'm saying? So having that delivery with the messaging and also being able to talk to yourself nicely, not softly, but nicely. But motivate nicely.
Yeah. You know what? And Coach B said, can we change that word out? The word soft has such a negative connotation.
It does.
And that's something that we probably need to rewire and change, because there's so much that people go through that we don't know about, right? That people do need, niceness. People do need some of that softness. And, Coach B said he was talking to the AD about, a couple kids that he says probably needs a little bit more TLC, or a little bit more attention. We don't know what their life experiences are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know why. So somebody might be sensitive but you don't know why. They probably have to fight so much that they're just tired of fighting. You know what I'm saying?
It could be.
So you're not coming, like, I'm not coming to practice to get beat down more by Coach B or Coach Mel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be uplifted at this point. So that's something to keep in mind for sure.
That's good. No, thank you for that, because that's something that I'm mindful of. But as I work with a lot of other coaches, they all players are soft and this or that. Maybe they're unmotivated, or maybe they just don't trust themselves. Maybe they don't always have confidence. That's not soft, But I just wanted to self-talk, talk nice. One of the things that I learned too about celebrating small wins and being tough on myself, and I think this is good. This is actually a really good conversation, but this is actually, for me, is almost, I'm learning on you guys for your experience as well. But I learned to not be so hard on myself as well, because I'm saying that I need to go win a national championship before I can go earn to be a Power 5 head coach. You know what I mean? Like, I need to earn that. And I'm just saying that. And when I went to the Final Four and we did a roundtable, and it was really good because we got the chance to speak with about 5 different Division I head coaches, and they came to our table. You know what I mean? So we had Power 5, we had low major, we had NAIA. But one of the coaches, about the last one, he was just like, "Yo, man, we've been, talking about. So what do you guys want to talk about?" And then one of the coaches that I was sitting with from UNC Pembroke, he said, "How do you move up, and what does it need? What do we need? What's our next step? And what would you suggest to us?" And each of us kind of went around the table and said it. And then after I told them my experience, they were like kind of blown away. They were like, "Yo, you're actually the most primed for a head job, because you went to a program that was already showed transition from, they were 5-19 before I got the job, and now we're a nationally ranked program." You know what I mean? So I'm already showing that I could develop, that I can recruit, that I can, haven't really shown the fundraising because we haven't really had to, but I've really shown enough. It's just a matter of kind of just being intentional about meeting the right ADs and letting them know and what you could bring to the table, and I'll get a job. So my point was, I'm always like really hard on myself. I don't win a national championship, but I know that we a big deal when I'm out and when I pretty much know who I am. They acknowledge myself through habits or through Nassau, and I kind of get that I am a successful coach. But I'm like, for me myself, you know what I mean, Coach Ramsey, we don't want to give ourselves the kudos. We want to still stay humble and work hard. But it's at some point, it's a little bit of sabotage where you do have to say, "Hey, I am good enough. Hey, I do deserve that job still. So that's something that I learned when I went there, and it was a really good workshop, because I left there and we're really, really intentional about, you know what, I am a good coach. I'm going to network with these people like I can really help them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help myself, and I'm going to put myself in contention for a big opportunity.
There's people with less that probably feel bullish about their position, like, yo, I deserve this and that. And you got more than them, and you just like, nah, I ain't done enough. I need to do this. You know what I mean?
It also stems back to like what you determine success to be. Right. So that's really where it all sits on that, man. It's like, I don't, and not for nothing, like we're all competitive, right? I'm competitive as heck. I want to win at everything that I do. But it's like, what is success, man? Like what do you deem success to be? And if you're preaching it to your players and you're preaching it to the people you're working with, and you're telling them just stay in the present moment and do all these things,
live it too,
we got to be able to, we can't be contradiction. Right.
Right.
And I was walking around the field yesterday, and I went over to the trainer here at Nassau Darwin. I go, yo, this is the first year where I'm all right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not tripping. Like, I usually get like real anxiety, and like I ain't sleeping. I'm starting to dream about the team I'm playing against. And I'm like, yo, worried about if we got everything down, if the bus gonna be on time. You know what I mean? Like all the things that you have to kind of have in order, man. But when I'm in the present moment, I'm like, if I'm telling these kids to be in the present moment, what am I doing not being in the present moment? And then when I did that, I'm like, yo, I'm having fun.
It's so much more fun.
Yo, I'm enjoying the moment. Yo, I know we're going to do what we need to do. And if I can do that, my kids can do it. If the kids can do it, bro, we're going to be all right. You know what I mean? And whatever your desires are out, people listening, Coach B, I know you obviously have stated you have, aspirations and dreams, and we want you to continue to have great success to get there, man. But at the same time, man, enjoy these moments, man. Enjoy being around these people, and enjoy this platform that we have here. You know what I mean? This conversation that we have, and we would never have it if you weren't here.
Right. No, so I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it, and I definitely appreciate that. I definitely feel more of a zen about myself this year as well. I'm very intentional about what we have. I'm very, very sure, about what we have, but I'm still intentional about winning the big one. If somehow we didn't fall short, I'm still going to believe that I am a really good coach. I'm not going to be a failure. I learned that I'm definitely celebrating that going into this preseason, I'm going to have about 15 players. Last year, when I went into my preseason, I had about 7.
Wow, that's a win.
That's a major win.
That's a win,
you
man.
can have a different type of practice now.
Can actually practice.
Yeah, for real. That's a huge win, man. Salute, man. Salute.
It was so rough for us at some point, man. I was using some of Coach Ramsey players to give us a 2-2-1 look upstairs in the field house, and every time there was always game. So it was good. It was good. I really appreciate it. But I'm really excited about the small wins. I'm really excited about the season, man. I'm really excited to leverage you guys, honestly, man.
Now let me know, man. I'll definitely come down and share whatever I can share about my journey, and just about just passing some imparting some knowledge, and just some talk that'll make people feel good about themselves, and like kind of like recenter, because I feel like we lose it as we work. It sounds good right now, but as we get into the work and some stress kicks in, we're not as on center as we were beforehand. So it will be good to kind of bring them back into a good place, or help or assist in that. So for sure, you let me know, man. I'm definitely make time.
No problem, man. Thank you.
And Coach B, man, we're gonna wrap it up, man. But I want to say, we appreciate you imparting your wisdom. We appreciate all the hard work you've done for not only this program that we're both part of, but if you follow him on Instagram, or I don't know if you're on Snap, but I follow you on Instagram, right? You'll see all the work that he does in the community, and how the young athletes really do thrive and they become better, so not only just physical, understanding the game, but also within the mental. So for the people that have been out here listening, we thank you. We'll continue to bring some great guests, and we'll continue to do this job that we're here to do. Coach B, thanks, man.
Yo, guys, thank you so much. Lastly, I didn't talk enough about myself and what I do with Habits Basketball. We're really passionate about developing all levels. Like, we start from as young as 4 years old, and we work with players up to professional level. all right, and we really meet players where they are, and we give players exactly what they need. So if a 4-year-old, we're not expecting them to dunk the ball, but we are expecting them to try to keep the dribble alive and maybe stay in a straight line and being able to master their emotions and hit that plateau and then really work harder. All right, so we really take a lot of pride in meeting players exactly where they are and giving them what they need. That's why we're able to work with from, again, a preschooler to a professional. And the next thing that we definitely missed was, since I've been at Nassau 4 seasons, all right, and 3 All-Americans in 4 seasons. Something that I'm really proud of. I think this year we had the opportunity to maybe get 2 or 3 more All-Americans with the roster that we have. Not only do we talk about a lot about mindfulness and being a good player, but we really do both. That's why we have so much success. When I was at Holy Trinity, I developed the first all Long Island player from the program. That was my kid. I coached him as a freshman, and then I helped him love himself, trust himself, and develop the skill set. And I told him as a freshman, you trust me, you continue to work hard, you keep this mindset, we're going to develop the skills. You're going to be player of the year by the time you're a senior. He's a 2013 player of the year at Holy Trinity. That was Damon Coleman. And then after that, I had a few other players behind my Team Force program. I went to Elvo at Adelphi. I dropped the job. I had to leave my AAU program alone because I was now dealing with scholarships. All right. But from Adelphi, I went over there. We picked up my point guard. That's how I got the job, honestly, at Adelphi, because I had a reputation of developing these young players, and I got on the Adelphi staff, and I was like, yo, we got to bring my kid in, and we got a few other really good players, and from there I went to LIU Coast. We had a really good time there. We were number 1 in the country defensive field goal percentage. We were like top 5 rebounding, blocks. When I was at Farmingdale State as well, when I initially, left Holy Trinity, we were number 1 in the country as well. That was 2 times at Eric Smiles as the head coach. That we were number 1 in the country defensive field goal percentage, block shots, rebounds, doing those little things. That's why I hold on to those values so well. I have some really good insight on being on some really good staff, some really good coaches at the NCAA level, Division II and Division III level. And then once I came to Nassau, we went to three Final Fours back to back as the men's assistant. We won the region 3 years in a row. And once I became a women's head coach, we went to the championship game. 2 out of 4 years that I've been the head coach. All right, but 2 out of those years we've been nationally ranked. We've always been respected. I have a first teamer, at least one first teamer every season. This year, past season, we had 2 first teamers, 2 second teamers. All right, all American. So we take a lot of pride in what we do and helping kids develop. And a big part of what we do develop, Coach, honestly, we teach them to communicate, we teach them to play hard, we teach them to sustain that mindfulness of, hey, this is the level you need to play at. And we hold them to that standard. We have the environment. We created the environment to really help them out. So we take that personal, and we take a lot of pride in it, whether it's on a private session or it's a small group session, it's a clinic session. And then when we have our chance to really go make the money with the college and really say, hey, this is what I do, we really do a really good job and over-deliver with the college. So we're really excited about a really good season that we're going to have this year with the girls. And I just wanted to say that for the listeners, because we're talking a lot, we just kind of jumped right into a little bit about those experiences, but a big part of who I am and what I do is I play development. I'm really good at helping play people be a best version of themselves. I'm really good at helping them tap into being the collective. I think my experience with working with the juveniles and kind of get everyone to be on the same page, manning the unit of 15 people by myself, kind of prompting people early, like, hey, look, listen, this is what I'm expecting for you. This is what I'm expecting from you. If you guys can maintain these things all the way to get us to the mess hall, then you know what, you guys will all get a treat. All right. So I kind of have a little bit of that experience from working with the juveniles, and I'm just really passionate about helping young people get better, man. Thank you guys for the time.
That's amazing, man. How can people follow or learn more about what you do in the player development? Where can they find you on social media? Just plug that real quick.
At Habits Basketball, that's my Instagram. At Habits Basketball, HABITS. basketball, basketball. I'm the only average basketball out there, but we're passionate about player development. You can see the videos, the reels. We've been getting a lot of really good traction, and it's really good. It could be universal. It could be really good karma, just constantly being consistent, doing the same thing over and over and over. This is all you're going to get from me. I'm enthusiastic about helping people. I want to find out ways to get better. I want to be a national champ. I am going to be a national champ. I'm just going to figure out how to get there. And when I get there, I'm going to figure out how to maintain it and how to do it again.
Salute, man.
Good job, man. Thank you for your time, man. We say win is win, man. That's what it comes down to. You got it in your DNA. So I thank you. I appreciate you taking the time out, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you have a successful season.
Thank you, man. We're following too. Thank you guys for having me. Pleasure to meet you, bro.
Wise, man.
All right.